Good evening. Robert Venatoli from SilverStatePreps.com and welcome to the Weekend Wrap-Up, where each week myself and the dedicated staff will look to give you an in-depth look at the top events that occurred in this past week. We got a great show for you guys, so let's get started. National Signing Day was this past Wednesday for high school football players all across the state of Nevada, with the Silver State setting a record 17 players to the Division I ranks. Set to join us via the First Choice Transmission and Auto Care Hotline is senior Bishop Gorman offensive lineman and University of Nevada, Las Vegas commit Julio Garcia, where he's going to give us an in-depth look at his experience on signing day. And Julio, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Robert. Thanks for having me.
Hey, my pleasure, buddy, and congrats once again on signing with the Rebels. You and former Bishop Gorman teammate Jaron Caldwell, you guys were the first commits for the new era of Tony Sanchez's first full recruiting class, and I mean, just walk us through that moment real quick. What was it like Wednesday to just sign those papers and to just know that you were a D1 player?
I mean, it was a lot of stress, when I was a junior and, not having any offers because, we had a lot of other players that were good, and like Jackson Perry, Ethan Ballet, and other seniors that we had on our team that was real good. It meant a lot when I received my first offer from UNLV because, a lot of stress was out because, it was my first D1 offer, and, I felt like I had to commit because it was UNLV, my hometown. I always loved UNLV when I was a kid, but I love how the coach, made big changes.
Talk about you said there was a lot of stress involved with this, and I mean, as soon as you put your name on that dotted line, you signed that letter of intent. What sense of relief did you feel knowing that you're just officially a Rebel now?
It means a lot because I know a lot of people in this town, always wish UNLV football would be a big program, and I'm hoping for that that change, so it can be a big time program like Emma, or step by step, it can happen.
You talk about the need to commit. I know you and Jaron, you guys were the first two Bishop Gorman commits too, to buy into Coach Sanchez's vision for the Rebel program. Before you even stepped on the field last year, you guys committed in February. What was it about Sanchez and about the new era that just made you want to commit so soon?
It's what he's done at Bishop Gorman. I remember when I was in 6th grade, and he brought Bishop Gorman to state championships, and then every year he brought tougher competition in the schedules. Started beating these top teams and great program teams, and Bishop Gorman's changed. Every year new things they added, and by him going to UNLV, I know he's going to make big changes because he's already going to build a new training facility. He's trying to get a new stadium, and I know he has a lot of support from his fans.
I love it, and you know what? You talk about changing the culture, and he's bringing this addition and that addition, and one of the additions you didn't mention was he's probably brought together perhaps the greatest recruiting class in UNLV football history. You got a 4-star quarterback coming in from California in Armani Rogers, and you got 9 3-star prospects headlined by Saddleback Junior College quarterback Johnny Stanton, who was originally a Nebraska quarterback. Just what are your feelings overall on this class? Just how great it's looking on paper, and how excited are you to just be a Rebel next fall?
I looked at when I went to do my official visit at UNLV when we went to Red Rock State. I looked at all the the top prospects. I looked at Armani Rogers and other guys we had that were trying to get, and I looked at them, I was like, dang, these guys look like they could go to all these big schools that they're offered from, and when they chose to stay at UNLV, it meant a lot. That means they believe in Coach Sanchez, and I remember when I was a freshman, Johnny Stanton was a senior, and he came to his team, Santa Margarita, came to Bishop Gorman, and they were preparing the Heat to play against, what was the team called? Murphy Prep. And that kid, literally, when I was a freshman, he looked like Tim Tebow. He was on his knees, he threw the ball like 50 yards. And getting guys like that to to UNLV is going to make a big change.
You know, that's awesome. And I definitely remember that moment. And you talk about getting guys like that, it's making a big change in this recruiting class. Some rank it the number 2 class in the Mountain West, some rank it the number 3, but it's definitely one of the higher echelons classes that UNLV has ever had. And I mean, before I get you out of here, I know junior quarterback Tate Martelli is always trying to recruit guys on Twitter, you know, through conversations, you know, hey, come play at Texas A&M with me. Alex Perry just decommitted from ASU a couple days ago, and he's putting Gig'em all over his Twitter. Why should guys come to UNLV and follow you and Jaron?
Well, it's a simple question. It's Las Vegas, you know, one of the best cities in the world. And, you know, it's Las Vegas, their hometown. You know, it's like the Miami Hurricanes, how they started. You know, all the hometown kids stayed and became one of the best programs out there. I believe that, you know, everyone in Las Vegas, all the recruits, top players in the state, Nevada, should stay there because it's their hometown.
You know, I love it, and I love that, you know, you even have the mindset to remember, you know, the Miami Hurricanes and how they started out in Liberty City. And, I mean, you're well-groomed beyond your years, not only on the field, but, I mean, you seem like a very intellectual young man yourself. And, I mean, as Service Day Preps, we're wishing you a lot of luck, and, I mean, we're so happy that you're finally a Rebel. So, hey, Julio, thank you so much, my man.
Hey, thank you, Robert, for having me. It means a lot.
Always, and once again, that was Julio Garcia, offensive lineman for Bishop Gorman. He's a 3-star recruit for the class of 2016, and he's officially a Rebel. High school football wasn't the only thing trending in the state of Nevada on National Signing Day, with our hometown Rebels under head coach Tony Sanchez pulling together one of their best classes in school history. Joining us to talk about the record-breaking class for the Rebs is our UNLV correspondent, Juan Diego Pergentilian. Juan, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Rob, how's it going?
Hey, buddy, all good on this end from Service Day Preps. How you doing, my man?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, of course, always willing to talk some Rebel football. And signing day has come and gone. And personally, I think the Rebels did great this time around. What is your feelings on the situation?
Yeah, the Rebels did really good for themselves this past recruiting cycle, picking up 23 players overall, 15 high school prospects, and 10 junior college prospects, none of which are already enrolled in the program. So it was definitely a historic day for Coach Sanchez and the Rebs.
You talk about it being a historic class for the program, and I completely agree. Break it down for us a little. Just how good is this year's crops of signees?
This year's group, honestly, is head and shoulders the top class of this past decade, and perhaps, you know, the school's history. The Rebels landed their first 4-star commit since 2006 at the game's most important position with once California Bears commit Armani Rogers pledging his verbal to the program, and they landed a record 9 3-star players headlined by Bishop Gorman, lineman Julius Garcia, and Jaron Caldwell, and Saddleback junior college transfer Johnny Stanton, who was actually originally a 4-star prospect coming out of Santa Margarita High School when he signed with Nebraska 3 years ago. So.
Hey, you know what? That's awesome. And you mentioned 2 highly touted quarterback prospects we got during this recruiting class. What's the state of the current position as we head into spring ball?
Yeah. The QB position, in my opinion, is the strongest it's been after a signing day in school history. With Rogers, we have our future locked up with a 6'6", 205-pound dual-threat quarterback who could actually win games with both his arms and legs. While our future looks bright with California Junior College Player of the Year Johnny Stanton presumably taking over the reins to the offense this fall. It's honestly a great time to be a Rebels fan right now and to go to the games and be a UNLV student and finally see a winning team out there and a team that's been put together so well as this one.
You know, I mean, it's a great time to be alive, and I mean, you say it's a great time to be a Rebel fan, and I completely agree. I believe Sanchez really has brought a new era to the program. But break down this class a little bit. I know we've talked about the quarterbacks, I know we talked about the 2 Gorman kids, but I know there's a lot more to be excited about, not only this season, but in the near future. Who we got coming up for us?
As the quarterbacks, we got Andre Collins Jr. from Mater Dei High School in California. He's a big, long receiver with a tremendous upside at 6'4", 200 pounds, and he's produced against some of California's top teams. A 3-star prospect, Collins caught 4 passes for 117 yards and 1 score against national power St. John Bosco and finished second on the loaded Mater Dei team with 704 yards and 36 receptions. And he has a big playability all over him. He's got written all over him, so he's going to produce. And on the defensive side, we got David Tate Jr. from Edison High School in California, and he has an opportunity to make an immediate impact at the linebacker position as an elite athlete with a high football IQ. A 6'2", 220-pound playmaker, Tate was a three-star prospect in the class of 2016 after recording 61 tackles and an interception this past fall. He's a real physical kid and will probably serve as a pass rush specialist for the upcoming years for the Revs.
I mean, I'm excited already. I mean, Andre Collins, big, tall receiver from modern day. He definitely seems like he's going to transition, once Boyd leaves for presumably the NFL the way he's currently going. And David Tate, I mean, we always need linebackers, but give us a player that's kind of under the radar now. I know a lot of fans, within the Valley, they've been looking at the recruiting classes. Some sites rank us number 2 within the Mountain West. Some sites rank us number 3. But who's that under the radar guy that could potentially blow up for this program and just be a gem in the coming years?
Right. So, in my opinion, Rodney Jones from Lincoln High School in California is definitely an under the radar type of guy. Who the coaching staff, they love him. He's an athletic 6'4", 240-pound monster off the edge when you watch this film. Something special that jumps out at you. The physical tools are there, but he's still a little raw as a player. He'll most likely redshirt this season and potentially be a real impact player as a third year sophomore. So,
I love that. I mean, you talk about Rodney Jones, and I actually have watched this film. Definitely a workout warrior, and I know he's a little raw, but I do like his presence coming in the coming seasons. And looking ahead, Coach Sanchez has done many interviews, since signing day, and he says recruiting never stops, especially in this town. Who are a few local players that Coach Sanchez really needs to land in order to have another solid class in 2017?
We got a couple guys personally that are must-have for the program, and surprisingly, one of them comes from Bishop Gorman, Sanchez's old school. Obviously, we want more Gales to follow Julio and John, but I just don't see the pipeline developing just yet. Still, though, there's plenty of Silver State talent for the class of 2017. Yale's running back, Biagio Ali Walsh, is a must-have for the program, but I doubt he'll be able to land his services. His services, obviously, with some of the top programs in the country going after him. He's a dynamic rusher, the 2015 SilverStatePreps.com Player of the Year. Is obviously a game-changing type of back, and I personally would make him my priority. Arbor View defensive tackle Greg Rogers is another target I throw everything I have to get him to stay home, because a lot like Biagio on the offensive side of the ball, Greg is an absolute game changer. He's more than just the kid in the middle. This guy can absolutely beat up opposing offensive linemen, and we all know football games are won in the trenches. So a few of the names to throw out are Green Valley outside linebacker Brock Hirschberg, who, as an athletic pass rusher, Liberty athlete Ethan Deduke, who is honestly a big school guy if he was just a few inches taller. And right now, he stands at about 5'8", and Desert Pines athlete Randall Grimes, who's the complete opposite of Ethan, standing at about 6'5", and can honestly play anywhere on the field.
Hey, I love it. I mean, the class of 2017, they've been saying it ranks as perhaps the greatest class of all time for the state of Nevada. So I'm definitely hopeful we can land a couple of those guys, and especially those 2 top game changers that you said. If we can land both of them, that would just currently put the state of the program to brand new heights. So, I mean, it's great. Once again, buddy, I'd like to thank you for joining us today and, providing us some great insight.
Hey, thanks for having me, and I'm proud of all the things Silver State Preps tries to accomplish, and giving the notoriety to the players, local players here. So thanks for having me, Rob.
Hey, thank you so much. And once again, guys, that was Juan Diego Pergentili, and you can check him out at Twitter. That's our Boulder City correspondent over there at JDP BCR Review, and he talks to us about all local sports. He's going to be with us at Silver State Preps for hopefully many years to come. So, hey, once again, buddy, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having me, Rob.
Certainly love the changes that Tony Sanchez has implemented at UNLV to change the culture, and a man who hopes to change the culture of Arborview softball, Vern Stevens, he'll now be joining us on the SilverStatePreps.com Coach's Corner. And Vern, how you doing, buddy?
What's going on, brother man?
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
You know, I'm doing great, and it's such an honor to have you on our first Coach's Corner, and just want to congratulate you real quick on getting the job over there at Arborview. I know you're going to help out the Aggies this year.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you very much. It's going to be a fun season working with the high school kids this year. Instead of being behind the plate, behind the fence, I get to be over there coaching. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Hey, you know, we're looking forward to seeing you, and I know the rosters aren't completely finalized yet. You guys haven't had tryouts, so we won't get too much into the Aggies, but, I mean, you got a team that already is finalized, and, I mean, they're one of the greatest teams I've ever personally seen. You got Little Rebels, Gordy. I know you and our good friend Jimmy Sisko over there. Yes. You guys help out with Gordy over there. Tell us a little bit about that team. I know you guys got a tournament coming up.
Yeah, Gordy's 18 gold team is loaded. They have we got 5 Division I pitchers on the roster, and then we got plenty of other kids that are pulling their weight. So they just won a berth to the USA Elite national tournament in Kansas City, Missouri this year also. And you know, then this week we got the Valentine's tournament going on all over town. The 18 golds will be playing up at Majestic. But that team is actually, it's got a top 10 pitching staff in the country with, the 5 Division I kids.
You talk about, top 5 pitching staff, and I mean, we know this goes very well. Charlie Masterson from Boulder City, Sam Pocup from Rancho. We got Clay Watkins from Sierra Vista. And it just goes on and on.
Michaela Hood from Spring Valley.
There you go. I mean, it just goes on, and you talk about all those girls. They were showcase girls last year.
All showcase kids. All on the same team.
All on the same team for same Silver State Dingers. And, I mean, you guys beat Julia Mine, head coach over at Shadow Ridge, 4-3 last year in the inaugural Silver State Preps Kathleen Kimberly Brown ASA softball showcase. And you know what? We've confirmed it, guys. We don't got a date for you yet, but we'll get that going. We're doing another one this year, and I know you're signed on. What do you feel like, this is, for our community? What presence does this command?
Oh, I think it showed last year when the whole place was packed and everybody that, showed up, and even people that didn't have anybody in there showed up. It was a complete success. 1, it's a great cause. 2, it's showing, it's bringing the best of the best together and playing together instead of against each other in club ball, to where I think the kids had so much fun with it. And, it was just such a huge success, and people thought it was going to be a one and done, and it's not, because of you, and the others behind the scenes. We're going to make it a second, there'll be a third, a fourth, a fifth. We're going to continue this every single year, and look out for some new breaking news on some other things that's in the works that will blow some minds away on what we're doing. Really exciting things going on.
Yeah, I mean, we can't divulge on that information just yet. You know that, Vern. Right. Silver State Preps, I mean, I know you guys at home, we try to give the people what they want. We're gonna divulge some information later on in episodes of the Weekend Wrap-Up. But I mean, hey, you know what, brother man? It was great to have you on. We wish the Little Rebels Gordy success this week. At the Valentine's tournament. I mean, let's get everybody out there. Let's go watch some great pitching
all day long. You want to see great pitching, come out and watch Gordy's team. And we also have a lot of other great teams in the 16 divisions and the 14s and the 12s. So they'll be at parks all around town. Go to asa.com or lvtourneys.com, and you can check out all the local listings. Thanks for having me on, brother. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you once again, guys. That was Vern Stevens, Little Rebels Stevens. He's got his own 14U team, coaches with Gordy on the 16s, and now he'll be at Arborview. We can't wait to see what you guys do over there.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited for everything. So thanks again, and we'll be talking to everybody soon. And hey, everybody, I'm root for all the kids in Vegas. Not just your team. Root for all the kids, because we want every kid here in Vegas to go off to college, on some kind of scholarship, and it's all about the kids.
You know what? Class act as always, my man. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, brother.
The Weekend Wrap-Up will unfortunately end on a sad note this week, following the aftermath of a pair of departures of high school football's brightest stars. Announced on Twitter earlier this week. Class of 2017 5-star recruit Tyjon Lindsay and class of 2018 4-star recruit Brendan Radley Hiles announced they would transfer from the program, heading back to their original stomping grounds of California. Lindsay has since emerged as one of the country's brightest athletes in transferring to Gorman, tallying 79 catches for 2,000 yards and 29 touchdowns while returning 4 punts for scores. Howes emerged as a sophomore in his lone season with the Gales after spending his freshman year on the freshman team, tallying 14 tackles with an interception and 4 pass deflections this past season for the national champion Gales, while hauling in a pair of touchdown passes and 106 yards with 4 catches. On behalf of myself and the Silver State Prep staff, we'd like to personally thank you, Tyjon, for your contributions in bringing home the Silver State a pair of high school national championships. In honor of your departure, we're going to share your highlight film one last time on Silver State Preps. That's going to do it for the weekend wrap-up. Hope you check us out next week, and thank you guys for tuning in.
Gonna stop, baby. Can't bring me down. To the top. On and never stopping till we succeed. We keep climbing up the ladder. Can't bring me down. To the top I climb, and I'm never gonna quit till I get what's mine. I hope you came to win, cause I'm never gonna stop till I clock that ring. To the top I climb. To the top I climb. All the way to the top I climb, and I'm never gonna quit till I get what's mine. Till I get what's mine. Yeah, to the top.
I've been running track since I was little, so speed has been a big factor in my life. I've been picturing myself here since I was a little kid, so I think I would fit very well here. I never settle for less, always look for the best competition.
Like a skirts up.
there's nothing worthwhile that you can't achieve. It was just phenomenal. You know, we all played as teammates. I just felt very great contributing to the team and helping us go undefeated. So it was a great season this year.